and a happy Monday. Welcome to the Plug Talk Sports Show, episode number 66. My name is Daniel Torres alongside Jonka Don't Stop here. Boy, it's been a long day. It's been a very long day. Let's get to you want to start off with bad news or good news this week?
Let's finish off with good news. So we'll start with bad news first.
Okay. Bad news. I'll start first. Last week, as if you guys know, there is a Hurricane Ian, that struck Southwest Florida, anywhere from Naples, Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Sanibel, Captiva. They were just absolutely devastated. This was a near Category 5 storm. They went through that area, and it's absolutely devastated. A lot of people have lost a lot of their houses, personal items, stuff like that. It's just horrible. I mean, it's not even fair to say here, like, Southeast Florida, Dade, Broward. Monroe felt a little bit impacts, but nothing like, Lee County and Charlotte County and Collier County. It's not even fair to say that we got spared, but it's just absolutely horrible. I saw those pictures in the past week. So if you guys don't know, we're actually going up there on Friday to provide relief, taking donations and sort of canned goods and water and stuff like that. But that definitely was the worst thing in the past week. I never want to see just as human beings going through that. It's awful. Jonka, you're up.
Worst thing I saw this week, I saw it on Twitter yesterday, and I had to show my grandma this, but there was a fishing competition, and they caught one by the weight in total of all the fish you have, and one of the competitors was caught putting weighted metal balls into the fish, so that when they weighed the fish, it would appear that they were heavy, so he could win the competition. And then they ended up calling him out, and then they opened the fish up, and they caught him with metal balls inside the fish, and they called the police. He called him a cheater. There was a near fight breaking out. It was crazy. If you follow my Instagram, my Twitter, and you go to my likes, you'll see it. It's unbelievable what people legit have to do just to cheat in a fishing competition. You fish, you catch the fish, you weigh the fish, and if your fish weighs the most, then you win. It's not that hard. I don't know what to say about that. It's just like, it's disgusting.
Good news, and talking about good news, best thing from the past week. Man, I got to think about this.
I know.
Okay. Columbus has gone 6-0 in football. Believe they're 31st. I don't know if they've moved up, but 31st ranked team in the entire nation. So that's always a positive. They absolutely dominated Miami High at Curtis Park, 55-14, I believe, was the final score. Absolutely dominating fashion. But that was my high of the week, was seeing Columbus go 6-0. Obviously, I mentor the broadcast kids, but it was great to see the team go 6-0. Jonka, how about you? Best thing of the week?
Best thing of the week. Well, as you guys know, and the guys that follow us all the time, you guys know that I like anime and stuff like that. But this show that I like to watch, Spy Family, really cool. If you like spies and stuff, go watch it. Great show. But we came out with an announcement. Season 6 for My Hero came out, and they're announcing for next week, October 8th, that the new show and highly anticipated show of the year, Blue Lock, which is a soccer anime, which I'm super hyped about, is going to be releasing next week. So I can't wait for that. Great news. and then more shirts are coming out. So I just can't wait. October's gonna be great for me.
So this was our plug of the week. If you haven't seen it in our socials, but we got to talk about it. It's our first topic of the night, and that is Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. I'll go first. Listen, seeing so many people in the industry, analysts, as I, should clarify, some analysts that don't even work in football but cover other sports. Everyone in that Sunday game against the Buffalo Bills, everyone kind of knew when he got up and he stumbled like that. That's doesn't seem to be a back injury. It's people that usually wobble and fumble around like that, they don't get that from a back injury. Immediately when I saw that, I knew it was a concussion. Now, obviously, another football player, he is an analyst. He's on Fox Sports, I believe, Emmanuel Acho. He tweeted, Tua should not get back in this ball game. Even if he passed concussion, he should not get back in this ball game. And he did. And the Dolphins won that game. He played good. My problem is, and he goes back to play on Thursday night. Quick turnaround for the Dolphins. They were dealing with a lot of injuries, and he gets swung to the ground. And this causes him to go into what they call the fencing position. As if you guys have watched the game, as you see his fingers were clenched like that. That is called the fencing position, and that is from neurological damage or trauma, blunt force trauma to the brain. In my personal opinion, I don't think Tua should have ever been playing in that ball game on Thursday. For me, there's a lot of information that I feel like has not been disclosed or that has not come to light on this matter. The NFL and the NFL Players Association has been investigating the matter since the Sunday game against Buffalo on the handling of Tua's health situation. And the doctor, here's the bigger news. The doctor that the Dolphins used to take medical advice from was fired this week because he made, end quote, I'm not making this up, end quote, several mistakes. I feel like the way that I feel my gut feeling when I've been hearing Coach McDaniels and everybody saying, Tua's good. He passed concussion protocol. It's no big deal. It's no problem. Tua's good. He's going to be fine. I feel like it gives me a gut feeling that they're covering something up. That's how I feel. And I think that it's only been a week. We don't know if Tua is going to play on Sunday against the Jets. Someone said that Tua might sit down. I don't know how credible this is, but that Tua might sit down and not play the rest of the year or in a Miami Dolphins uniform ever again. Because essentially the loser in this situation is Tua Tagovailoa because it's his health. I just personally feel like there's something shady there and there's something that's left out. And as the investigation goes on, we'll learn more. That's just my take on it.
Okay. As we all know, the NFL has been dealing with the concussion problem for years now. And they've been dealing also with something called CTE, which, if anybody doesn't know what CTE is, it's chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which is a progressive brain condition that's thought to be caused to repeated blows to the head and repeated episodes of concussion. Now, the medical examiner that you just spoke of was not affiliated with the NFL. So I don't know if he had a rundown of the protocols that they're supposed to go through with that medical professional, whatever his name is. I don't know if they went over him or he was just a person that they just brought in just to check on him. Okay, yeah, he seems good. Okay, put him back in. Now, that's the professional way of looking at it. Now it's the fans' way. An outsider. This does not look for the good for the Dolphins. You clearly see the guy against the Bills on Sunday get whiplash and hit his head back into the turf.
Mm-hmm.
He gets up, looking dazed, and then he stumbles. Then two of his teammates come over and try to help him walk himself to the sideline.
Yep.
And I'm like, buddy, if you had back problems, you either be holding your back or you would tell the people that come out onto the field saying, "Hey, I got a pain in my back. Can you at least bring a wheelchair or something to help me so I don't have to put any weight on the back or something like that?" Right? No, that did not happen. He walked. He went into the medical tent to get addressed for the concussion protocol.
Mm-hmm.
He looked bad because he stumbled. I mean, the guy looked really bad, to be honest.
Well, wait, Jonka, not to cut you off, but think about it. If it was a back injury, and please, anyone who's watching this, please correct me if I sound dumb or ignorant or whatever. But if it was a back injury, when Tua is heading to the sideline and they say, "Hey, we want to test you for concussion protocol," if it was his back, he would say, "Hey, no, like I'm good. Like it's my back that's in pain. It's not my head." So, like, the fact that they still did the concussion protocol means that it was a possible concussion.
Exactly.
What did he do with the back?
So if Tua would have said, "No, I feel fine," and then then this happened, then it's a different story. But they gave him the test supposedly. They gave him the test supposedly. I don't know what bootleg protocols they went through. But somehow after that, 10, 15 minutes later, he's back on the field playing against the Bills. And this is why I addressed the Dolphins organization. Hey, listen, I'm a Miami guy. I would love to see the Dolphins win something. But this doesn't look good on you because there should be no reason Tua was on that field after the halftime, coming back from what just happened. And second, if the reason I'm saying this is because if the Dolphins would have not won that game, they would have lost the game to the Bills, which is basically the leaning in the division right now. They would have led the division, and plus, they would have also. If you think the Dolphins are gonna beat Buffalo in Buffalo, the chances are very slim. So imagine if Buffalo would have won in Miami and in Buffalo, that would have really hurt the Dolphins' chances on winning the division. And plus, they would have just ended the 3-0 streak, obviously. So they wanted to remain undefeated. It's like, hey, our best chance right now. We gotta play. It's the biggest game of the week right now. It's the Bills and the Dolphins. It's Tua versus Josh Allen. Tyreek and Stephon Diggs. It was the big game. It was the craziest game ever. The safety, the field goal, all the concussions, the heat strokes. It was one of the craziest games of the year, and we will ever see. And I feel that gave pressure. I think somebody up there in the Dolphins organization said to Tua or to a staff is saying, "Hey, just say he's clear and let him play because we can't afford to lose this game." Now, I have no proof of that thing. I'm just speculating the top theory. I have no backup on that. But it would make the most sense for that be the reason that he's back in. I'm not blaming Mike McDaniel on this because all he does is receive information from the people that he's supposed to trust,
Mm-hmm.
and then he'll go accordingly off of what we just received. If he said that he's clear to go and he's ready to go, why not put him in? Like it's clear as day. If I can work and I can make it to work, then why shouldn't I be at work? And then so That's what I'm gonna say, because I don't want to. Any Dolphin fans that disagree with me, add us at Plug Talk Sports or Jog on Stuff or direct. Give us your opinions. But now, this I was talking to Daniel before this. Think about this for a second. Let's say Tua doesn't. We already know he's not going to play for the against the Jets this week. Now, imagine this. Let's say Tua does. A lawsuit happens. They find out that it was more than this. Some conspiracy was going on. That they put Tua in harm's way, and now Tua's career is in jeopardy. Right? Let's say he doesn't play for the Dolphins ever again, or doesn't play football ever again because he's on the verge of, if he's taking any more hits like that, it could be life-threatening, right? Now, if that were to happen, it would look bad on the Dolphins, but the Dolphins could try to fix it, because right now we're seeing that Lamar Jackson is still having trouble with finding a contract agreement with the Ravens. And we know Lamar Jackson is a Miami guy. I think Lamar Jackson would take a hometown discount, come play for the Dolphins. And I think with that team, Lamar Jackson, Tyreek, Waddle, Gesicki, and our defense is pretty good. I think that is an automatic Super Bowl contender off the rip with Lamar Jackson.
I in terms of Lamar Jackson, he is a South Florida boy.
He's just the way with the legs, man.
Listen, the only way I see that scenario is if Tua's gone.
I'm saying Tua's still on his rookie contract, so that's why I'm giving out that if he wasn't on his rookie contract, then I would say no, then the money's not there. But they do have the money since Tua is on his third year of his contract.
And I personally don't think that Teddy Bridgewater is the answer. I mean, he didn't do too bad when Tua came out of the game. Led the team down the field on his first drive and did throw that very critical interception at the end. But when he came in the Buffalo game, wasn't that impressive.
No.
And I know Buffalo, but he wasn't that impressive to me. So I know people, when the Dolphins signed Teddy Bridgewater, a lot of people were like, oh, Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, he's another South Florida, native. But I think just looking at the 2 times he's been out on the field, they need a stronger backup. That's my opinion.
Skylar Thompson is actually pretty good. When I watched him play at the training camp, hey, he can make some plays. We saw him in preseason. He can lead the offense. But would you rather choose Skylar Thompson or Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, I would choose Lamar Jackson. But again, I only think Lamar finds himself here or would agree to leave Baltimore or have an interest in any other team. Or the Miami situation again if Tua's gone.
Just imagine right now. I don't know if you've been watching, but there's drama in Baltimore. They just lost another game there, and the game before that. Hey, I'm telling you right now. I call it here first. I'm the first one to say it. Lamar Jackson to the Dolphins. If something goes down with Tua, take it to the bank.
I can't disagree. I can't disagree with that decision. I think there is drama in Baltimore. He definitely deserves the money. Baltimore should give him that money. But again, my final take on it is I only see Lamar Jackson taking that sort of opportunity if Tua Tagovailoa is gone. And from that standpoint, I don't know. Moving forward from all this, I don't know if the Dolphins are going to let him go.
I see this situation. I was talking to a friend about this also. That this situation could turn out to be the same situation with Chris Bosh and his blood clots. You don't want to put him in harm's way again. That's why I could see the situation happening like that. It's like, buddy, it's like, yes, we understand. Like, you've done so much for us, but at the same time, it's like we didn't want to see you collapse in the middle of the court. And so now we saw what happened with Tua twice already. And now he's not playing for against the Jets. But let's say he comes in the week after or the week after that, right? He comes back in, and it happens again, right? He gets sacked, and boom, it happens again. What do you do from there? Like, as a Dolphins fan, as a Dolphins CEO representative, what do you do in that situation? Like, I've been saying ever since he got drafted that no offense to Tua, he is a bit injury prone. First his back, then shoulder, then his elbow, then his hip. It's like there's always something with Tua. And if they're saying, oh, it's his back again, and it's like, buddy, like the Dolphins should have just gone Justin Herbert, man. It's like I don't know. I think there's just I don't know, man. The situation is so flip floppity, man. You can call it a pancake.
Well, let's move on to our next subject of the night, and it's something I think you think will be a little fired.
Oh my God! Don't do this to me, man. My blood pressure's already up with this too.
Tyler Hero has gotten a contract extension of 4 years, $130 million with the Miami Heat, and I think by looking at it, they waited all off season to see. Miami was involved in so many big fish trades. Rumors at least in conversations. Whether they were going to land Kevin Durant, which Tyler Hero was rumored to be part of a package to go to Brooklyn that would land Durant in Miami. Then there was the whole Donovan Mitchell fiasco. Is Donovan Mitchell coming to Miami? I think even Tyler Hero was part of that trade package as well to go to Utah for Donovan Mitchell. And we always knew that Tyler Hero was going to be a trade piece, a trade asset, if they were going to land a superstar in South Beach this offseason. I think that the organization and the fans were a little frustrated. Yes, during the regular season, Tyler Hero was fantastic, sixth man of the year. But then when it came playoff time, we didn't get that guy. We did not get that guy, and I think a lot of fans were very, very frustrated. And granted, in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston Celtics, did miss a couple games due to an injury. But the fans themselves were very, very frustrated with the likes of Tyler Hero, even Bam Adebayo in their performance in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston Celtics. So I think that was a reason why even Hero was going to be part of trade assets for these superstars because of that particular reason. Now, the offseason is gone. The Heat obviously did not end up with Donovan Mitchell. They did not obviously end up with Kevin Durant.
Kyrie Irving.
Or Kyrie Irving as well. And now that they see, Jay Crowder was someone on Miami's radar. Haven't heard any more traction on that, as of recent. But Miami didn't end up with anybody. And because they didn't end up with anybody, they said, hey, we didn't end up with anybody. We've been holding this off because of this reason. Extend the kid. And extend the kid they did. And it's Tyler Hero, 4 years, $130 million. Now, you're going to ask me, what do I actually think about it? Because I just explained the situation. But what's my opinion on having Tyler Hero back? Well, here's my opinion. I love Tyler Hero. I have a Tyler Hero shirt. But if you're not going to, he says he's improved his game this offseason. We're going to have to see it.
I'm not.
We're going to have to see it. Obviously, regular season. But when it comes postseason, that's when the talk becomes real. But if we're not going to have better defense, better shot selection, which was very frustrating in the post.
Remind me, bro. Do not remind me.
Tyler Hero or the Miami Heat in general. If we're not going to get that improvement, and especially in the postseason where it's going to count, I'm open. I was open this summer too. I mean, I was just like a regular Heat fan. I was open to a trade using Tyler Hero as a trade asset. If it was going to land me Kevin Durant, of course, even Donovan Mitchell, because I think they would bring much more to the table than what Tyler Hero can. Obviously, Tyler Hero is still building a career, and he still has time to develop. And again, let's see what he does this year. But I'll leave it at that. I was very open. If the Heat were to say, "Oh, we traded Tyler Hero," it won't be like the day they traded Dwayne Wade. That for me, that hurt. But I would not get that same reaction with Tyler Hero. If Tyler Hero was traded this offseason for a big fish to come to South Beach, yeah, it sucks to see him go, but I wouldn't be devastated. And that's my take on that.
As I've stated in previous podcasts so far. Previous? Okay. As I've said, I will not be watching Miami Heat basketball this season because this offseason has been atrocious. They have not added anybody that's worthy of even playing. Let's be honest here. And for Tyler Hero, you're paying the guy starting money, $32.5 million a year.
Yep.
When the kid has never even started. How can you pay him starting money when he's never even started? That's one. Now, 120 million of that is guaranteed. 120 million of the 130 is guaranteed. And then 10 million in incentives.
Well, now that you say guaranteed, I gotta say it in the light of Brandon. Guaranteed.
Well, guess what? This is a message for Tyler Hero. Hey, Tyler, you say you playing better defense. You better guarantee that you're at least top 75 in defense this year. Because if you're getting paid $32.5 million a year, you better be doing rebounds, assists, defensive efficiency. You better be go for every free throw missed. You better start making all your free throws. Stop getting injured. Stop complaining. You said that because you last year wasn't a so good year for you because you were focusing because you had your baby and all this stuff. I'm like, but wait a second. You're having a second kid this year.
Hey,
so how does that make any sense?
6th man of the year. That sounds like a good year to me individually.
No, it doesn't. When what we saw in the playoffs, that is just an influence. You did not deserve 6th man of the year. To me, that's to me. But you blame you having a baby for your playoff problems, right? Your playoff performances. You were underperforming in the playoffs. Would we say that, yes, Daniel?
Yeah, I can agree to that.
Okay, he said because I was dealing with the baby and I didn't know how to deal with it at the moment. So
wait, pause that though. Pause that, because I know as sports analysts, it's not our business to get into people's business or personal life, but you talk about the baby and stuff like that. I think it was during the playoffs when they had a whole cheating scandal going on.
Exactly. And he brought it up. Tyler's the one that brought it up. So this is the reason I'm bringing it up. I wouldn't bring it up if you didn't say anything. But if you're going to blame the baby and all this new stuff with the drama and the cheating and whatever it is for your playoff problems, and now you're having a second baby
with the same lady,
with the same girl, and to start the regular season off as a starter, getting paid $32.5. Buddy, listen, you better finish at least top 10 in MVP voting, man, because only the big people get paid that much money, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Heat, what are you doing? What are you doing? Tyler Hero can just give him the starting role. You can pay him $90 million instead of the $130, and you can spread that money to giving Carmelo Anthony, Jay Crowder, Dwight Howard, anybody else that can help you achieve your goal. You lost PJ Tucker. Your defense is worse now. You lost Markieff Morris. He's out. We saw Adebayo. He didn't perform that well in the playoffs either.
Yeah.
Where's his help? Like, I understand. You bring back Udonis Hassan for what? For what? To do nothing? Just sit down and talk?
And the scary part to think is that Bam's backup is Dwayne Dedman.
Yeah, Dedman. Yeah, he's a dead man. That's what he is. He does nothing. He's just on the court looking like an idiot. Like, well, where am I supposed to go? Like, bro, you're supposed to block the ball and defend anybody that comes into the paint, bro. Like, I was like, where was he in the playoffs too? Like, they didn't even play him. This is why my blood boils, bro. This is why my blood boils with this team. This is what you call Miami Heat.
Well,
the Heat boils the salt water under the arena.
He did play, and specifically a lot in that Celtics series. But when he did play, he got himself in foul trouble.
That's best, besides Jimmy Butler, the second best player on the playoffs for the Heat was a guy that didn't come in until late in the season, and Victor Oladipo.
Yeah.
Like, how does that happen? Bro, Duncan Robinson, where the are you? Like, you're supposed to be like 6'5", 6'6". You can shoot threes. You're supposed to be like the next reincarnation of Klay Thompson, bro. Like, you're taller than Klay Thompson, or at least the same height. Where's your defense? You have no defense whatsoever. You provided nothing in the entire Boston series. You could have at least changed the tide. Oh my God, man! This guys, Miami Heat fans that are watching, I know you're heated. Like, well, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm telling you right now, you don't know me, but whenever I'm telling you this, is a fact. I'm warning you right now. Save your money for tickets. Save your time from watching the games, because they are not going to win anything this year, bro. The Sixers are better. The Nets are better. Milwaukee is better. You can even say Atlanta is better. Boston is better. Man, I don't even know. Maybe one more team that I'm missing. But where in there do you see the Heat beating those teams when we haven't even improved anything on our roster?
Well, here's the thing. People like to say the counter argument of, oh, but we were 1 minute away from the NBA Finals, which, by the way, an NBA Finals appearance that would have been really ugly for the Miami Heat, because they're playing an extremely strong Golden State Warriors team. And if the Celtics barely survive that, imagine the Miami Heat. But the thing is, we're not talking about one game with that same roster being away from the NBA Finals. We're talking about that you kept the roster they almost made to the finals, but everyone else upgraded their roster.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
And the Nets didn't have Ben Simmons. James Harden wasn't really into the system with the Sixers yet. Milwaukee's going to come back stronger. Who else? Atlanta has been adding a couple more players. Boston has added, just recently they added Blake Griffin, which is another defensive player. And he's not bad. He can get some buckets. Like, yo, Heat, what are you doing? You're making these signings that don't mean squat and players that don't do anything. You overpaid Tyler Hero. It's overpaid, period. I don't care what anybody tells me. You can argue it all you want. It's overpaid. What player do you know that has Tyler Hero's intangibles that gets paid $32.5 million? I'll wait. And I'll be dead by the time you can look for one. I'm just telling you, don't waste your time with the Heat this year. I'm just letting you know right now. Unless something happens during the middle of the season or there's a huge trade, don't waste your time. Go get a job. I don't know. Go party some more. I don't know. Go find a girlfriend. I don't know what you want to do, man. Just don't waste your time with the Heat, man.
Well, I'm going to end it there with the Heat and Tyler Hero's contract extension. We're going to move on to soccer. Inter Miami on the brink of the playoffs. 2 more games left in the regular season. A Wednesday midweek showdown with their arch rivals, Orlando City, and a Sunday finale on decision day against CF Montreal, both home games. But before we get into that, there was very special news today in today's Inter Miami press conference at 12 noon Eastern Time. Gonzalo Higuain, after 17 years, he has announced the retirement of his career. And at the conclusion of this 2022 Major League Soccer season, that will be it for Higuain. And they're really urging fans to go to Drive Pink Stadium in Fort Lauderdale these last two home matches of the regular season, because there's not a guarantee that Inter Miami will get into the playoffs. I believe there's 3 teams right now tied with the same amount of points, and one of them is Orlando, and that's going to be absolutely a massive match on Wednesday evening. It could determine a lot. If Miami loses that, Orlando gets those 3 points, it'll be pivotal, and Miami would be facing a Montreal team that has done so well all year long and has been on top of the table, and could be potentially their first round opponents in the Eastern Conference playoffs. But for back to Gonzalo Higuain, I will say from a personal side, having worked by him, along him for an entire year last year, the guy showed, my opinion, the guy showed why he is the best in this squad. A lot of people, I personally did not like the way the Miami fans have treated him. I've tweeted out multiple times, Miami fans owe Gonzalo Higuain an apology, because you would not be wanting to celebrate that you're on the brink of the playoffs, or might even go to the playoffs, if it was not for that man. I understand Leonardo Campana had a nice streak run of goals, but that's been gone now for a while. I know Campana was injured, but it's been gone for a while. Campana's back now. It is Gonzalo Higuain that has gotten this run of form, and let's not act for a minute that he's only playing well because of his form right now. Gonzalo Higuain is a world-class player. In his 17-year career, started in River Plate in Argentina, gets scouted in a friendly match against Real Madrid, and Real Madrid said, hey, this guy's coming with us. Goes to Europe, plays for Madrid, was the team that he spent the most of his career with was with Real Madrid, and he was a goal scorer. He was a goal scorer with Real. From there goes to Napoli. He was at AC Milan. He was at Chelsea. He was at Juventus. This guy has won 17 trophies. He's played in a World Cup final. He knows what it is. He knows what it takes. And I've always said it, Gonzalo Higuain, whether you hate him or not, is the most experienced and talented player on that Inter Miami roster, and the players should be looking up to him for leadership, advice. And I think that he fit into that role, great. I think it took some time for him to adjust when he first got here to Miami. Also, he had, a lot of personal difficulty when he got here to Miami. His mother tragically passed away in Argentina, and it made it a rough time for him to Miami. And, during those issues, his wife and his daughter were not in Miami yet, getting their visa resolved so they can get here. So he was here alone. So he was going through all of that by himself. So it was not an easy time for him in Miami, and a lot of the fans here in the club booed him off the field or even threw stuff at him, which I think is, you want to talk about greatest fans in the MLS. That's an absolute disrespect. And that is something I expect from Miami fans, because that's just the type of sports culture we have here in Miami. We've seen it in the UM game when they played Florida State. UM fans threw stuff onto the field. I'm not surprised. But did he deserve that? Yes, he had poor performances. I get that. But the man has had a hell of a career, and he chose to come to Miami. He chose to be part of this club. He could have gone anywhere else. He could have gone back to Argentina, or he could have retired just then. But he didn't. He came here to Miami, and now he is the sole reason why this club might see the playoffs, because he is the goal scorer. And that's something that's going to hurt Miami. I think now when he retires, they're going to have to look for a goal scorer to replace those goals of Gonzalo Higuain. So on a personal note, again, having worked by him, alongside him, congratulations. It's been one hell of a career. I watched your Real Madrid days, of course, myself a Real Madrid fan. I watched his days in Madrid. Much respect and much congratulations. You did it the way you wanted to do it in your career, and best of luck to your next endeavors. Now to the playoff aspect. I know this is a mouthful. I know I just had to say all that about Gonzalo. This is a good possibility that Inter Miami, looking at where analysts, including myself, I will take responsibility, including myself, did not pick Miami to go to the playoffs this year, especially when you overturn a roster and get like 15 new players. I did not expect Miami to be in the playoffs this year. And there's still a chance that I might be right, that they might miss the playoffs. But did they get damn close? Yeah, they did get damn close. Do I still like Phil Neville? Nice person. Again, I've worked alongside him. But I don't like his style of coaching. It's the massive games on Wednesday, I believe. Both of them are massive, but I think that what's can really decide all of this is Wednesday night against Orlando. And for a fact that's going to be a scrappy game. I know Inter Miami has a great home record at Drive Pink Stadium this season. It has been a fortress for them. And as of late, Inter Miami has really scrapped it out for results in the last minute. But it's gonna come down to Wednesday, in my opinion. Do I think they can beat Orlando? I think it's 50-50 in my opinion. I think 50% they lose, 50% they win. Because in these rivalry games, you never know what you're going to get. And you can bet on it. There's going to be a good amount of Orlando fans traveling down from Orlando to Miami to be in Drive Pink Stadium for this occasion. But I'll leave it at that. I think it's a 50-50 occasion. If Miami wins this one, I see them in the playoffs. If they don't win this one, I can see them missing it. But that's just my opinion.
Okay. After all that, Daniel hit a lot of the keys, but I'm gonna say just thank you, Gonzalo, for carrying this team, because obviously the team can't carry itself. Now I still can't forgive you for what you did to me in the World Cup final. But I'll let that slip for what you've done for Miami. But for the playoff side, Wednesday, I agree, is going to be the game, because if Miami wins against Orlando, they'd go up to 6, and then Orlando plays Columbus on Sunday.
Which to hold you there, it would be a deciding factor between Columbus needs to win actually both games.
Exactly. So if Orlando were to lose the next 2 games, they're out.
Yeah.
And Columbus goes into that 7th spot, and we go to 7th.
Or 6.
Yeah, 6. Yeah, my bad, 6. So yes, I agree. If Miami beats Orlando, we make the playoffs. Now we can't lose the second game, because anything can happen.
Hey, and it's a must. Sorry to cut you off, but I forgot to add. It's a must win. A draw is not good enough.
No, yeah, because Orlando is on top of us right now, so we can't draw.
Because if they draw and Columbus gets a win midweek as well, because Columbus is also playing midweek. If Columbus gets a win at midweek and we get a draw, that's going to hurt Miami.
Let me see. What is Columbus? Columbus plays Charlotte and then Orlando on Sunday.
Yeah.
It's tough. That's tough. Yeah, but if Miami pulls off the win against Orlando at home, I think they're in for sure. And then they play Montreal. That's most likely a loss, but if it's a win, maybe that gets them to 5th. Who knows? if Cincinnati loses, they play one more game, and it's against DC United. So
who is the bottom of the Eastern Conference?
So, hey, maybe it's an upset. Who knows? All these teams that play can easily shift who goes up or down. So hopefully Miami does win, and we make the playoffs. And I know Gonzalo, you told me Gonzalo wants to win the cup this year, the championship. Kind of a stretch. Right now, we have to wait until we make it officially. But everybody would have to like buckle their pants up and be a big boy and actually start playing some soccer.
Look, we've seen some crazy things in MLS. MLS is I've learned working, in the last 2 years of MLS, it's very unpredictable. The people that guaranteed you feel like they're going to win, are going to upset you. Last season, the New England Revolution set a record for most wins in league history. Everyone thought New England's going to breeze by the playoffs. They're going to get to the MLS Cup, and they're going to win it all. With how good they played soccer last season. New England was upset in the first round at home to New York City. Then you and I are in Philadelphia. Philadelphia being a top dog as well in this league last year. And they upset Philadelphia. And they go on to the MLS Cup final. Well, yes, okay.
I don't know about that, bro.
Philadelphia have a lot of their key players out because of COVID. But they still won against a very good Philadelphia team in Philadelphia in a hostile atmosphere. And we were there. It was loud. They get to the MLS Cup final, and they beat the Portland Timbers in Portland. It's not easy to win in Providence Park. So that just goes to show you right there that in MLS, it's very unpredictable and anything can happen. If you get hot in the playoffs, it could happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen for Inter Miami, but if they get hot at the right time, Gonzalo's dream could come true.
Yeah.
So we just got to see. But and this topic, I definitely agree with you. We both agree with each other. Wednesday's it. Wednesday is the game. If Miami beats Orlando, I think that Miami will make the playoffs. If they don't win,
every player on Inter Miami should pray, should get ready, warm up the best they possibly can leading up to that game, have a nice lunch, dinner, whenever the game is, at night or in the afternoon.
It's at night.
It's at night. Okay, have a nice lunch and dinner, relax, and then right before the game starts, you get hyped up. You're like, guys, let's give our everything. Go for every ball, every pass. Make sure that there's no errors in this one game. Just do one game. You don't have to win the Montreal game. Just beat Orlando City, and you're basically in.
Yeah. I will be in attendance at Drive Pink Stadium on Wednesday night for two reasons. Well, basically only for one reason. I want to give my respects to Gonzalo Higuain one more time this season. And, I want to be able to cheer him on and clap for him. Probably for the last time I will see him in person.
Maybe.
Yeah, so this is because he makes the playoffs. Obviously, his career is extended. But for me, being in that stadium and seeing Higuain, I want to give that respect one last time. So I will be in attendance Wednesday night. And again, it's a big match. It's Orlando, Miami, big rivalry match. I definitely want to be there and see that action for how massive an occasion this match is. So, final topic of the night, FIU football has gotten their first win against an FBS school since 2019. That is how long FIU football has gone without an FBS win. All the wins that they had was against FCS schools. They defeated New Mexico State this past weekend on Saturday, of course, on the road at Aggie Memorial Stadium. ESPN had them losing big time, actually. Because last week was not pretty against Western Kentucky, a 73-0 loss. But for the first time since 2019, FIU gets an FBS win. And I know, you think about it, wow, man, look at these people at FIU. They are celebrating because they got an FBS win. But hey, when you go such a long time without beating an FBS school, when you finally get that win against an FBS school and the streak is over, isn't it worth it's worth celebrating. You're back on business. You're back in the table. It was good to see. It was good to celebrate for a period of time because now the season continues and you got to get back to work. But ultimately, it was good for us alumni and fans to see them beat an FBS school once again.
Especially after the previous week.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And it was against New Mexico State.
Yeah.
21-7. What was our prediction for that game? Did me, Brandon?
I think we all said that was going to be a loss.
A loss? Okay. So we had a wrong prediction there. Let me see here. Let's see what load. Okay, here we go. Okay. Yeah, it wasn't that offensive of a game, but I don't know. I gotta give credit to FIU. They finally broke a streak that they didn't want, and they got over the perseverance, I guess. I mean, better than how my team's playing right now. So my team has no offense; they can't score points. So what am I gonna judge?
No, I wasn't on the show last week.
Yeah.
But you guys did touch upon that Miami and Middle Tennessee game. Middle Tennessee did go on.
They lost to UTSA.
And they lost to UTSA. So does this mean UTSA is better than Miami?
What I'm going to say about Miami is I think the defense can get worked out easily. They can fix that problem because, it's a defensive school. But I think that the offensive coordinator needs to open the playbook up for Tyler Van Dyke. Because all it is just run. And then whenever he does pass, it's never down the field. It's what we saw in Texas A&M game. It's always to the side and hoping the blockers do their job, and maybe he can get a couple yards after the catch. That's basically it. What we saw last year is why everybody opened their eyes to Tyler Van Dyke. We saw he was throwing these dimes to Charleston Rambo and Mike Harley. They were going down the field, bing, bang, boom, bing, boom. That's why they were able to beat NC State.
Yeah.
They were able to beat Pittsburgh. They went on a 6-game winning streak at the end of the year. That because they were just going down the field because they have those weapons. And I think Miami still has those kinds of weapons. But this offense is not clicking right now. And I think Tyler Van Dyke is either not grasping it or it doesn't just fit his play style. So I think Josh Gaddis needs to improve the offense in a way that it can make the team succeed and make Tyler Van Dyke succeed so that we can go into this week beating North Carolina on a good note. And so that leads into the next week until November 5th, which is the big game against FSU here at home, which I think will be there.
Yep.
Hopefully I can try to find some tickets to get into the game, but it's going to be expensive. But and then also the last 3 games they have what's it called? Clemson at Clemson, and then they have Pittsburgh at home, I think.
Yeah.
And those are all top teams.
We'll see. Again, we'll keep you all updated here, both FIU and UM here at Plug Talk Sports. You can come check out our articles on www.plugtalksports.co. But again, thank you guys for this episode for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And we'll be back next week with episode 67. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week and a good night.
Support the troops.